Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. We're free and available on all platforms. On today's show, can Brian Cashman sign a top shortstop free agent for just 1 year? Is that a possibility? Hicks is in the Dominican Republic. His numbers are, it's the Dominican Winter League. I don't know why anyone's expecting anything to be over the top and amazing, but some people are panicking. I'll tell you why not to. And we're looking at another random Yankee game, this time from 2014, and I'll tell you right now, I have no recollection of it. Next on Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone. This is Stacey, host of Locked On Yankees, and the first two words I'm going to say, Igawa. That's who I could not remember yesterday, and I will tell you right now, as soon as I stopped recording, his name popped into my head. I had a friend send me a message at 4:30 this morning, not quite yelling at me, but jokingly yelling at me, "How dare you forget about Igawa?" I can't believe it either. And you could see the frustration in my face if you were watching on YouTube. You could hear it in my voice if you were listening on yesterday's show. I can't believe I forgot his name either, because I remember random baseball games I attended in 2005. So how could I forget about Igawa? So that's who I was trying to talk about yesterday. And I know a lot of you probably knew who I was trying to remember, and you were probably just as frustrated as my friend listening, saying, Igawa. So here we go. There we go. I apologize. I don't know why his name just did not come into my brain, and I literally stopped recording, and as everything was shutting down, I yelled out, Igawa. I'm so embarrassed. Anyway, before we get into today's show, I will remind you that you can listen in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. There are a ton of podcasting platforms and apps available for you to listen to us on. You can subscribe and watch on YouTube and like and comment and do all that stuff. And if you have a smart device, you can tell that smart device to play podcast Locked On Yankees. I've tried it. It works. I don't have a smart device in this room, thank goodness, so I won't set it off accidentally, but it's pretty funny when it does go off accidentally. So, Brendan Cuddy of NewJersey.com wrote an article about the Yankees maybe being able to... no, sorry, it wasn't Brendan. I got confused because it was on NewJersey.com, and I think he tweeted it, so maybe that's why I got confused. Mike Rosenstein wrote this. The article is basically... about how Cashman sat out the first round of free agency. Now, we all saw how the first round of free agency was. It was crazy. A lot of guys signing before the lockout. Yankee fans were worried that the Yankees weren't doing anything, but we didn't see Correa get signed. We didn't see Trevor Story get signed. We did see Corey Seager go to the Rangers. So I didn't want Corey Seager. I know some Yankee fans kind of did, but I'm all about Correa. As long as Correa is still there, we're okay. So this article basically explains that Cashman has two options for shortstop, and we've discussed this on the show. He can either make a run out of the remaining guys who were there, free agents, the top ones, Correa or Trevor Story, or maybe Andrelton Simmons and Isaiah Kiner Falefa, who I mentioned on yesterday's show. You can get those types of shortstops who are more defense than offense while you're waiting for your prospects, Anthony Volpe and Oswald Peraza, to develop. I don't know. I say it all the time. I'm going to keep saying it. It's going to get as annoying as my episodes about Sonny Gray 3 years ago. I'm just going to keep saying it. Correa. Get Correa. I don't care what he said about the Yankees. I don't care that he cheated. Who hasn't? I don't care what he said about Derek Jeter, because he was right. Just sign him. He makes the team so much better. I don't care that he bats from the side of the plate that people would prefer not to see another Yankee player bat from, because I know that people would like to see a lefty, but he's good offensively. He's good defensively. He's still young. He's just entering his prime. it seems like the smartest thing to do. It seems like the Yankee thing to do. Or at least the old way of the Yankees years ago. Just do it. Come on, Brian Cashman, just do it. Now, Kylie McDaniel of ESPN thinks that Cashman, and I'm reading this from the article, Cashman could have his cake and eat it too. I don't like that saying. What does that saying even mean? Anyway, by signing one of the big ticket shortstops to a short-term deal. And this is what McDaniel said. Carlos Correa sure seems to get that last giant deal for a shortstop, and Freddie Freeman will get the best hitter on the board big payday. But beyond those two, the likes of Chris Bryant, Nick Castellanos, Michael Conforto, and Kyle Schwarber will compete with Trevor Story for the next biggest deal for a position player, and one of them will probably get squeezed to settle for a below expectations deal. Story and his throwing issues may end up being the real candidate to settle for a one-year deal. I don't want someone on the Yankees with throwing issues. No. They want a shortstop who can play shortstop. That's why they moved Gleyber to second, finally, on September 13th, after watching him try to play shortstop all year, and putting Gio Urshela at shortstop because Gleyber couldn't play shortstop. So let's not, and say we did with Trevor Story if he's having throwing issues. The rest of his game is fine, but do you want a shortstop with throwing issues? No. Carlos Correa, people. If you're not watching me, I'm staring into the camera as if Brian Cashman is watching me and I'm trying to hypnotize him. Carlos Correa, do it. Yeah, that's not going to work. Please, if that did work, the Yankees would have a much better roster if I was able to hypnotize Brian Cashman and maybe hypnotize Hal while we're at it. Oh, wait, I didn't mention this yesterday. I'm going to mention it now. Let's congratulate Derek Jeter and his wife Hannah Jeter on the birth of their third child. Now, people are noticing that Hannah did not look pregnant at the Hall of Fame ceremony. She did not at all. So they're thinking maybe the baby was born to a surrogate. Good for you. And it's a third baby girl for the Jeters. River Rose Jeter was born last Thursday, December 2nd. Congratulations. I love that he has all girls, and personally love this baby's name because my middle name is Rose and it's the best middle name ever. So yes, I have a bias. I'm fully able to admit that. What can I say? But yeah, congrats to Derek Jeter and his wife Hannah, and Bella and Rain for having... No, Bella, Rain, and Story. That's right. Bella Rain is one name, and Story is the second girl. So Bella, Story, and River. Those are not the names I would have imagined Derek Jeter naming his children. So Hannah has some sort of influence on him, huh? But I love those two together. I think they're adorable, and I'm just so happy for him. And he has his post-baseball career life in order. And, you know, the Marlins are making things happen, and it should be interesting to see how that team develops. I spoke about that. Which crossover was it? I was talking about how the Marlins were poised to break out because their pitching was good, and they just needed to build more around that. And I think Jeter and Kim Ng are working on that. So should be interesting to see how the NL East shapes up in the next few seasons with the Marlins trying to get better. So speaking of, actually, this isn't really speaking of anything getting better, but let's bet. How about that? We'll bet on how long it takes for the Marlins to be the type of team that causes some excitement in the NL East. We're heading into 2022. I'll bet 2023. I don't think it's going to take that long. And if you want to bet, you can go to BetOnline, because BetOnline has you covered all season. You have more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football season continues its march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to receive that bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. Bet online, where the game happens. And I have something else for you. Does this sound familiar? When you've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes, no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. That's DirecTV Stream, and you can learn more about it at directtv.com. Compatible device is required, and the content varies by package. Okay. Now, I think it's too early to worry about Aaron Hicks. I'm just happy that he hasn't hurt himself yet. That's the most important thing, really. I say it all the time when guys are coming back from injury. I don't care if they strike out 15 times. As long as they don't pull something while they strike out, it doesn't matter to me. So the fact that Aaron Hicks is actually playing and seems healthy, that's the bonus for me. Now, yesterday afternoon, Max Goodman, who I follow on Twitter, tweeted out, over 9 games in the Dominican Winter League, Aaron Hicks is batting .206, which is 7 for 34, with 1 home run, 6 runs batted in, 6 strikeouts, and 4 walks. So, yeah, it's not great, but it's still not totally awful. I mean, he's making contact. He's walking. That's always good. He has 1 home run. It's better than none. I can't believe I'm looking at the positive side of things. I'm such a pessimist, but I mean, you might as well. Again, he hasn't gotten hurt yet. If you're not watching me on YouTube, I'm crossing my fingers. Because Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks and Luis Severino. The Yankees give him those contracts. Boom. Injury. Unbelievable. So, yeah, I'm not going to worry about him. Although, it's kind of funny that we're so starved for baseball that people are searching out his highlights. And it was almost the same thing last year when Gary Sanchez was playing in the Winter Leagues. And, there wasn't really much to see. And that kind of continued into 2021. So I understand why people are worried about this. But I still think it's too early. He's coming back from a pretty serious wrist injury, wrist surgery, and just give him time. Just the fact that he's still playing is great. Don't get too twisted about that. I'm going to head right into this random game. I was going to leave it for segment 3, but you know what? Let's start it because I didn't recognize this game at all. And it only happened 7 years ago, which is kind of frightening when you think about it, because as I said earlier in the show, I tend to remember games from 15, 20 years ago as if they happened yesterday, but I will explain why I couldn't remember this game. It was a game between the Yankees and the Tigers on August 27th, 2014. And the reason I don't remember it is it was when my dad was in the hospital. And my brain tends to make things fuzzy when I go through any kind of trauma. So there are a few years in my life where there are times that are just blurred out. And I don't remember this at all. And even reading... Where I got this game was from Reddit. A poster on Reddit. Chitty, I didn't say the curse word. Chitty Shady Fiasco was the person who posted about it. Because the Yankees did something to David Price that was just really not nice in this game. So as I said, August 27th, 2014, it was a Wednesday. It was the day after my 40th birthday. The 40th birthday wasn't really that great for me either because my dad was in the hospital and I had vertigo. So yeah, and I still had vertigo this day. So I really wasn't functioning well. And I don't believe I watched this game. So it was a 7:10 start local. The attendance was 40,876 at Comerica Park. And it was Shane Green for the Yankees. God, 2014 was hilarious. And David Price for the Tigers. David Price had just been traded from the Rays to the Tigers, I believe, like not too long before that. So this was their first time seeing him as a Tiger. And, well, it didn't go well for David Price. Yeah, not at all. But not right away. Didn't happen until the third inning. So let's go through the lineups because, I love doing that. And especially because when you read off the 2014 Yankees lineup, it's always a fun time. Jacoby Ellsbury, Derek Jeter, Martin Prado, Mark Teixeira, Carlos Beltran, Brian McCann, Chase Headley, Brett Gardner, Francisco Cervelli. Again, Shane Green was your starter. For the Tigers, Ian Kinsler, Torrey Hunter, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, JD Martinez, Nick Castellanos, Alex Avila, Eugenio Suarez. Why don't I remember him? Rajai Davis. Again, Price was your starter. Let's go through the umps. Why not? This is always a fun time. Bob Davidson at home. John Tumpane at first. Bill Welke at second. James Hoy at third. And as I said, 40,000 people there, almost 41,000. It was 76. There was no wind. It was cloudy. So it was, kind of a nice night. Again, not for David Price, but that didn't happen until the third inning. And I will tell you all about that in 1 second. So let's go through it. The first 2 innings were quiet for both pitchers, actually. Yeah, nothing happened. Well, the first inning for Price, he gave up a hit to Ellsbury. Ellsbury stole second while Jeter was up, then Jeter struck out. Then Prado walked, and Teixeira and Beltran both struck out. So he struck out the side, looking, swinging. Shane Green gave up a walk to Kinsler. Torrey Hunter hit a pop fly to second. Miguel Cabrera hit a fly ball to left center, and Victor Martinez struck out swinging. Then in the top of the second for the Yankees, McCann and Headley hit back-to-back singles. And then Gardner hit a ground out that forced out Headley at second. McCann made it to third. Gardner made it to first. And then Cervelli hit a ground ball double play anyway to end the inning, and the Yankees didn't score. Then Shane Green set down the Tigers 1-2-3 in the bottom of the second. Strikeout looking, ground out to short, and then a strikeout swinging. Now, this is where everything went south for David Price. Ellsbury hits a single. He steals second while Jeter's up. That sounds familiar. But what didn't happen in the first inning was Jeter hitting a double that scored Ellsbury. Then Prado hit a single. Jeter made it to third. Tex hit a double. Jeter scored. Prado made it to third. Beltran hit a single. I know. Prado scored. Tex made it to third. McCann hit a single. Teixeira scores. Beltran makes it to second. Chase Headley hits a single to load the bases. Brett Gardner hits a single to score Beltran. McCann makes it to third. Headley to second. Francisco Cervelli hits a single. McCann scores. Headley to third. Gardner to second. The bases are loaded. And Blaine Hardy comes in to replace David Price. That is not fun. So this is what Chitty Shady Fiasco on Reddit wrote. On August 27th, 2014, the Yankees led off the third inning with a hit off familiar foe David Price. The team then proceeded to record 8 more hits in a row, completing the 9 consecutive hits to back around. 2 sacrifice flies were hit before the third out was made. 8 runs scored. The 9 hits were from Ellsbury, Jeter, Prado, Tex, Beltran, McCann, Headley, Gardner, and Cervelli. Those were the only runs the Yankees scored all day. They ended up winning the game 8-4. And they only had 3 hits outside that inning. So Headley's single in the first was one of them. Price's first career start as a Tiger was actually against the Yankees back on August 5th, 2014, and he went 8 2/3 against the Yankees and actually did a really good job. He only gave up 3 runs, struck out 10. And this game on the 27th was his 5th start of the season against the Yankees. And then from that start on, he had an ERA of 6.68 against the Yankees in 99 2/3 innings, including 2018 in his postseason start against the Yankees. Before this start, on 8/27/14, he had an ERA of 3.64 against the Yankees in 160 and 2/3 innings. So that's kind of amazing to me. And I remember him having issues with the Yankees when he was on the Red Sox, not even just in that postseason game. There was another game, an ESPN game, Sunday night. Was it 2018? See, the time is... But there was a game where the Yankees had a big inning against him, or even a big start. He gave up 5 home runs. It was something crazy like that. Someone leave in the comments on YouTube if you remember that game. It always felt like they did stuff to him on Sunday Night Baseball. I don't know why. But yeah. So let's look at the rest of this game. As I said, they only had 3 hits outside of that. So let's see when the other hits happened. Yeah, see, they were really quiet. Okay, so Prado hit a single in the 6th. Yeah, no, there really weren't any other hits besides wow. That's impressive. And as I said, he looked okay the first couple of innings, and then that 3rd inning, he just imploded. And when you think about the 2014 Yankees and who was there, like even looking at not even just the starting lineup, but Stephen Drew came in for Derek Jeter. And Suzuki, really? Ichiro came in to replace Beltran at one point, and he got a hit. So, yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Adam Warren came in, Dellin Betances came in, and then for the Tigers, after Price, as I said, Blaine Hardy came in, then Phil Koch, Pat McCoy, Jim Johnson, and Al Albuquerque, the person that Mike Francesa did not believe was a real person back in 2011 during the division series. Does anyone else remember that? That was one of the funniest things ever. He actually thought a caller was lying to him when he told him about Al Albuquerque and thought it was a made-up name. I can understand why, but that's amazing. Mike Francesa is amazing. Yeah, so that was that was something. So August 27th, 2014, as I said, I don't really recall. It's possible I watched the game, but I don't remember. As I said, I had vertigo that whole week, and it made me not just dizzy, but I was tired, and, I couldn't really focus on anything. So it wasn't as if I was sitting in front of a TV all day. So yeah, I really don't remember that game at all, but that's just really, what a performance for David Price. But the whole thing about the fact that his career against the Yankees seemed to change after that particular game is kind of amazing to me, considering the 2014 squad. So, yeah, that's something interesting to look at when you look at someone's numbers. Now, before we go, because we have a few minutes to kill, and you know what? I'm going to do this. Kei Igawa. Oh boy. Remember this guy? Yeah, the Yankees really tried to make something happen with him, and it just did not. And I always feel bad when stuff like this happens, because at the time you want to dislike the guy for not doing well, even though, what can you do, right? It's not like he's purposely doing bad. He just couldn't be the pitcher that the Yankees thought he would be. But I can understand why some Yankee fans would be a little hesitant when... I know people were a little worried about Tanaka. They had nothing to worry about. Tanaka was great. Ugh, I miss Masahiro Tanaka so much. He was amazing. The fact that he was pitching with a torn UCL for how many years and it still didn't tear? Oh, God. Wait, hold on. If you see me on YouTube, I'm banging on a table, and if you're listening, you can hear it. I don't want to jinx him. But Kei Igawa, that was just one of those things that didn't work out for the Yankees, kind of like Hideki Irabu. So Igawa came to the Yankees in 2007. He was 2-3 with a 6.25 ERA in 14 games. He started 12 of them. He pitched 67 and 2/3 innings, gave up 15 home runs, 48 runs on 76 hits. Yeah, just not great. And then he had one start in 2008. He pitched 4 innings, gave up 6 runs on 13 hits, and his ERA was 13.50. And I'm trying to look for the game score here. Where is it? Because that is not good at all for that game. Oh, I know how. If you break it up into his logs, that's what it is, game logs. Just atrocious. And again, his ERA in 2000, or no, his career ERA, 6.66. That's all I'm going to say about Igawa. I don't even want to go on after that. That's just, no, that's not good juju. So let's move on from that, okay? So, will the Yankees sign a big-time shortstop? Please do. Please, Brian Cashman, Hal Steinbrenner, please, please, please. Just sign Carlos Correa. Do it. You won't regret it. He's going to be good. I just don't understand the trepidation. Just back up the Brinks truck. Do it. And should we be worried about Aaron Hicks? No. I really don't think we should. I think it's too early to worry about Aaron Hicks. So don't worry about Aaron Hicks. Not yet. Again, as long as he stays healthy. It's the most important thing. So everyone just calm down. So that's it for today's episode of Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'd like to remind you that you can listen to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can watch and subscribe to us on YouTube. And when you get into your car, you can tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Bets. Now make your second listen of the day Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. One more thing, if you could be so kind, please rate the podcast and spread the word about this podcast to your fellow Yankee fans. We would really appreciate it. Enjoy your Tuesday, and I will talk to you tomorrow.